The world is full of noise, and all too often, that noise attempts to drown out the message of hope that moms so desperately need to hear.
It is our calling to help you reach this level of freedom, to understand who you were created to be, and to walk fully in your purpose. From daily routines to slaying giants, we're going to talk about things that matter, help you find a balance that works for you, and tackle mindsets that hold you back.
We craft each episode to speak to a specific challenge in motherhood, leaving you feeling inspired and equipped with tools to make changes that will propel you on the path to your calling. We are about purpose, identity, and freedom. I'm Dr. Baylis.
And I'm Jackie Bailey. And this is Point of Decision.
We are so excited to introduce David Hernandez, founder of Body by Purpose. David is a personal trainer and mindset coach specializing in empowering women to become healthy, fit, strong, and unstoppable.
David has his degree in nutrition and culinary arts. He prides himself in educating others on how to create generational health using multiple modalities. So welcome to our show, David. So good to have you here.
So awesome to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So I've been in the fitness industry for about 15 years now, and started as a basic trainer, working at different gyms and being involved in the whole industry, working in the field of bodybuilding myself and just training, and then focusing on my own physique. And that kind of inspired me to just keep going. But my whole industry passion really started from a very young age as an athlete, just finding my love through sports and through nutrition. But it really happened when, at the age of 21, I lost my childhood best friend to obesity. He went to get a gastric bypass surgery. 2 days later, he got an infection and he died.
Oh, that's awful.
I was living in Florida at the time, but when I got the news, it was like, I was devastated, right? It was a sucker punch. It was like my whole life just crumbled at that point. But it was funny how sometimes bad news can turn into good things, and how sometimes passions can even come through uneventful circumstances. And at that point, when that happened, I made a commitment to myself. I said, I'm in fitness. I love what I do, and I am not going to let anybody else that I know that I love have to suffer what my best friend did, or had to go through, right? What he suffered. Right. So that kind of really inspired me and started my whole journey even more aggressively towards health and fitness. And then from there, I ventured out. I started working at gyms. I started working privately with a lot of people. I'd go to their homes. I would go to their country clubs and just train them there privately. And then from there, that's how Body by Purpose came about. And I'm now training women, strong-minded women that want to become healthy, that want to lose weight, that want to become fit, that just want to transform themselves for numerous reasons that they might have, right, for wanting to lose weight. But that's how it pretty much got started, and that's where I'm at today.
Why did you focus on women?
That's a great question, Leslie. You know, one of the things for me as a child that I was really, really inspired was with my mom. I grew up seeing my mom sacrifice a lot to give me the best life. You know, she would work 12 to 15 hours every day, and she would still make me dinner, make sure she would wake up early to make me breakfast. She was a social worker. And just the way I learned about her story, she was an immigrant from Mexico. She learned English by traveling with the thesaurus and the dictionary with her everywhere she went. She paid her way through community college and then through university while still raising my brother and sister and myself. And she was just very passionate about education and about learning. And so seeing that growing up, I just really became passionate about the ability that a woman has, and how passionate a woman can be, and how dedicated a woman is, and how when they really want something, they'll go for it. Through my career, as I was working with men and women, I just really felt a connection with women. I felt there was more that they could do that they didn't even know that they could achieve within themselves.
That's amazing.
And I had a really big connection and affinity because as I saw my friend suffer, even though he wasn't a girl, but I saw him suffering through the issues that are caused by being obese, but a lot of that suffering isn't silent. So as I started working with women and they started opening up and just sharing their pain, there was that connection with them because of what I went through with my friend. And then from there, just getting them to a place to where they can start to believe in themselves, passionate about them, because a strong, fit woman is really, truly unstoppable.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
I love that. So your mom must be an absolutely phenomenal, wonderful woman to have raised a man that has such respect for women, and you see the strengths that we do carry and that you can inspire women to become the best that they can be. I just absolutely love what you said. It is interesting because I personally believe that women will follow directions better from men. You know, there's just a dynamic I think that we're born with, and a strong man is really awesome and fun to follow. So I wanted to just ask you though, what do you think some of the misconceptions are that women have when they, you know, decide to embark on this fitness journey with you?
There's a lot. And I think the biggest misconception is basically all the misinformation that is out there. That
there's so much misinformation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of times the women focus on only wanting to lose weight. So they end up getting in this weight loss mindset. And that might be a good thing, but at the same time, losing weight isn't the solution.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Anyone can lose weight. Ladies, stop eating for a week, and I guarantee you're going to lose weight.
Yes.
Yeah.
David,
Yeah.
that is so good, because I just have to throw out there that I just turned 40 and I just had my fourth baby, and my body's very different now than it was when I had 20 years ago, my first baby. And it's amazing how I've learned how to give myself the grace to be where I'm at. And my focus no longer is weight loss. My focus is becoming strong.
That's it.
And when I was reading in scripture, we looked at the Proverbs 31 wife, and it says, she girds herself with strength and she strengthens her arms. And it just really dawned on me how when I'm focusing on becoming strong because I want to be energetic for my children, I want to stay young. You know, being 40 with a 2-month-old baby is much different than being 19 with a 2-month-old baby, and the energy levels, the strength, and I want to stay young for my children and my future grandchildren. So
right. And that's why I talk about creating generational health. It's not about weight loss. It's not about only focusing on that. What happens when you only focus on this? It's going to take you to desperate measures to do whatever it takes to get there. Society and marketing takes advantage of that. That's why there's so many fad diets, right? Mm-hmm. Because they know that people that are desperate, they're going to try everything and anything. If they tell you, eat a bowl of turd, and sorry I say this, this is the next magical thing that's going to make you lose 50 pounds. There's probably going to be people that'll try it. That's an extreme case, but that doesn't make any of these other fad diets different than that. Mm-hmm. The misconception of I can't eat carbs in order to lose weight. That's false. That is the biggest lie out there. Carbs are a source of energy, and we need them to sustain ourselves, right? And then there's so many other misconceptions in terms of like intermittent fasting and depriving themselves. I can't eat this, I can't eat that because I'm going to not be able to lose weight, or because I'm going to gain weight. I have to be on a diet in order to lose weight. Or if I go to gatherings, I can't enjoy my time with my family. I can't go out to restaurants because I'm on a diet. And we end up living prisoners of this misconception of weight loss, that we become slaves of it, which essence take us to this extreme measure of trying to find anything and everything to lose weight, and we end up losing sight of our own life.
Right.
Exactly.
It's not about losing weight. When we focus on other elements, which is identifying like how to be healthy, changing habits, changing mindsets, changing habitual things that you've probably been doing that has got you where you're at today, right? If we're being completely honest, you are in the place today because of the choices that you've made. You didn't wake up like this one day. It had to happen because of your choices. So I focus on different elements to get people to get their mind out of simply losing weight, focus on the things that are really significant and important, and the weight will come off on its own.
That makes total sense. So what are some actual practical ways that you help women overcome these misconceptions? What is something that our listeners can take with them and just say, hey, let's begin here with this mindset thing?
So there are three things I focus on. And these are the three foundational things that I utilize with every woman. And that has been the only thing that's able to really, truly give you the results, but allow you to keep them forever. Number one is strategy. We have to understand that the problem isn't information. We just said it a little while ago. There's tons of information out there. The problem is identifying and knowing what of that information is going to actually work for you. What's going to give you the results? Because look, we have to know this. We've heard it, but we don't really take it in and really understand this concept. We are all different. Every person has a different lifestyle. Every person has a different culture. Everybody has a different body type. So how can we expect the same thing to work for everyone?
Right.
There is no one thing, fix everything, solve solution for everyone.
Right.
It just doesn't exist. So we must identify the strategy that's going to be in alignment with your lifestyle. If what you're doing today is not in alignment with your lifestyle, you will eventually fail. That is why fad diets don't work. They work temporary. They'll give you results. You may lose those 20 pounds, but you can't sustain it because that diet isn't sustainable long term. Why? It doesn't align with your lifestyle.
So many people end up gaining that 20 pounds plus an extra 10 after that fad diet because they've deprived themselves for so long. Like you said, it doesn't fit their lifestyle and they end up 10 pounds heavier in the end.
Exactly. So the key is identifying the strategy that's going to work for you within your lifestyle. The second element is lifestyle recalibration. What the heck is that? Understanding how to become independent with your health. As humans, we always have the tendency of going back to what's most comfortable.
Yes, that's so true.
And it's just like habitual.
Right.
Yep. Right.
If I can equip you and teach you how to make adjustments, you're going to be able to be independent. You end up changing your family. Why are most families obese? Because that's all they've been taught.
Right. It's not just genetics, people.
Exactly.
Right.
We can potentially change a generation simply by teaching somebody how to be independent.
Oh, good.
The last element is accountability.
Right.
Somebody that cares about you, that has the same interest in your goals as you, that is passionate about what they do, that will hold you by the hand and guide you through your own journey and process, and then that occasionally give you a kick in the butt and get you up when you're down.
Absolutely. Accountability is so important.
Yeah.
So these are the three elements that I focus on. Strategy being the foundation, lifestyle being the education, and then the glue, which is the accountability.
Yeah, accountability is literally, like you said, the glue. I know for myself, in my own recovery journey, I would wake up a lot of mornings in massive amounts of pain. But because I knew that my trainer was waiting for me in the gym, it forced me and pushed me to get up out of bed in pain, get dressed, do all the stuff, to get there on time, so that he wasn't waiting for me, because I respected him, I honored him, and I wanted to make sure that the money that I invested as well into my recovery was being well spent. But it was all because I knew he was waiting for me, and he was the missing link and the key to the goal that I wanted to achieve. So accountability really is that glue that holds it all together. I love that you said that.
Absolutely.
So good. Yeah, awesome. How would you say that you combine all of these different aspects? So like the physical aspects, the training, mindset aspect, nutrition. I did really want to touch a little bit on what you said about carbs and that misconception, because women especially, they think that like carbs are their enemy, when you said that they're actually meant for energy. So I really want you to touch on that. And if you know anything about carb cycling, for women especially, I think it's so important to touch on. But how do you combine it all together? Because all those pieces are so important that they have to work in continuity. But I want to know like the bigger strategy.
everything stays in and around these three elements, right? Strategy, lifestyle recalibration, and accountability. Now, when we focus on strategy, there's two main elements. There's the fitness part, and then there's the nutrition part. The key here is understanding what is going to work for you based on your lifestyle.
Right.
If you are a busy woman, you can't go 3 hours to the gym. It's about lifestyle workout. So all the women that I train, on average, all they train is 20 to 25 minutes a day.
Right.
That's it. Whether that's through the method that I use, which is the metabolic surge training, which is a method that incorporates compound workouts with very short periods of rest, 10 seconds rest from one workout to another. In that cycle, they're doing 4 to 5 workouts all together. What happens with that is that we increase your metabolism. We get you to a higher state, which will help us burn fat faster. And they just put aside 20 to 25 minutes. Most people, if they're committed to wanting to change their fitness and their physique and look good and be healthy, can set aside 20 to 25 minutes. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. 100%. Yep.
It's more doable for the average person.
Yep.
Most women that I have the pleasure of working with are not trying to be athletes. They're not trying to be the next Miss Olympia or bodybuilder. They're just trying to be healthy and fit and be the best in their area of influence. When we look at the nutrition side, I break it down to where you don't have to worry about counting calories. You don't worry about macros. You don't worry about giving up the foods you like to eat. You don't have to give up your carbs. You don't have to even worry about carb cycling. It's through a fundamental that I use, which is called flexible nutrition. I teach you how to enjoy eating the things you already eat and for you to still enjoy life, because what's the point of wanting to be healthy and fit if you can't enjoy life? So I teach you about flexible nutrition, and I teach you how to be able to do that while eating the things that you enjoy.
Yes.
That's how we take care of strategy, right? And then when we look at the lifestyle recalibration part on how do we transition them into making sure that this is kept long term, it's through my academy, which is the Elite Champion Fitness Academy, is where women will go in there to learn about how to eliminate their limiting beliefs, how to establish a champion mindset, how to eliminate bad habits, how to recreate new habits, how to identify what your process is and like how to make peace with your process, how to embrace it and how to love your process. Because a big thing that most women, and I could say people in general, I'm not just trying to pick on women. I just say women because that's who I deal with. But there is that urgency of wanting to get it off now. I need to lose the weight and I need to lose it now. Okay, great. Right. But what happens when you lose the weight, if you don't have the understanding on how to keep it off, it's about recreating and knowing that if it took you 20 years to get where you're at, it's going to take a little bit for you to get the weight off and understand these elements so that you can live healthy and fit. Right. So it's about embracing the process and knowing what your process is and how to deal with your process.
That makes sense.
Okay. And then 3, the accountability part of how I run this whole process is I have weekly check-ins with them. I do Sunday group coachings where I bring different elements of topics to teach them. So for the entire period of us working together, I am constantly with them through their whole process to get them to where once they're done with it and they've achieved their goals, they're going to be so equipped that they no longer need me. But if they choose to stay with me, it's because 1, I'm good looking. I'm joking. No, but really because they may just like the motivation and they must like the encouragement. But they don't need to worry about ever needing anyone else after they get through their whole program.
That makes sense. So with all of this, and the mindset is such an important piece, do you ever deal with like sugar addiction and things like that and overcoming those obstacles and the spiritual battles that come from something like that?
Absolutely. That's big. And that is actually addressed through the academy. A lot of emotional eating stems from some type of traumatic moment that has occurred throughout their life. And 8 times out of 10, it's happened when they were a child. Mm-hmm. right?
Yeah.
There was some type of traumatic moment within their life, and they went to food as a source of comfort.
Right.
And in that source of comfort, they found that peace, if you want to call it that, and they know it's something secure, something that they can trust will always be there. So they create that codependence on the food that ends up being their source of what helps them basically fill that void, which is a lie, right? It's because you can never fill a void with food, right? And a lot of that does, if we're talking about the spiritual side of it, a lot of that does have to only be dealt with spiritually.
Right.
When it's necessary to go through healing, and it's necessary to confront all of these moments that you've maybe lived and gone through that are triggers that took you to that place of relying on food or utilizing food or coming back to food as your source of filling in that void, to be able to detach that emotional connection, the way you see food, the way you think of food, because food isn't, in that aspect, when you're dealing with the emotional eating, food isn't seen as simply food to nurture or for performance. Food is seen as, I need it to survive.
Right.
I need it to feel good. I need it to fill me. I need it to complete me. And when that connection is with food, it becomes dangerous because there is no limit, because we're always going to be lacking something, which can only be through the spiritual side.
Mm-hmm.
But you're lacking it, so what do? You think you need more of it, so what do?
You get more and more.
You eat more. You will never be filled. And that's what happens when most people start to deal with serious cases of obesity. Like we see extreme cases like these shows, right? 700-pound person or the 1,000-pound sisters. I mean, we're talking about really extremes, but it starts from small things.
Right. And it starts from the daily habits and our mindsets and the things that we have actually spiritually come into agreement with that we need, possibly even need deliverance from.
Right. That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. You know, I'm Christian. I'm a faith-based coach, and I believe in that. And I have a team that handles that part, right? Mm-hmm. That'll do the inner healing, that'll support women on that aspect to be able to go through their own personal deliverance, to be able to overcome that, so that now they're complete and now they can live life not only healthy physically, but also emotionally and spiritually.
Oh, good. Can we just touch on the spiritual just really quick right there? We're a spirit-based podcast here. We're faith-based. We're Christian.
Love that.
A lot of people don't talk about this aspect, and it is very real. The spirit realm is extremely real. And there are actual spirits involved in some cases in people's struggle with weight and struggle with overeating and struggle with the thoughts that come along with that. So you said you have a team. What does that look like? Let's go a little deeper into that area, because like I said, not many people talk about this. You don't really talk about it a whole lot, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about it for a second.
That's the element that most people don't touch on or are afraid to touch on.
Right.
Our process starts with inner healing. Majority of all people's battles that they're dealing with, or even if we want to just call them out, right, demons that they're dealing with, comes through healing that has not occurred.
Right.
A lot of it, things that they've experienced in their childhood, growing up, even as adults, you know, whether it was through seeing their parents fight, whether it was through seeing abuse or being abused, being verbally, physically abused, deaths that they may have seen, or relationships that they may have been in that has caused a lot of trauma. I mean, we've heard them. There's so many things, but a lot of it stems from that place of being not healed, of not being able to overcome that, not truly healing all of those areas. And so what my team does is they go in and they do sessions and they start to identify where it all comes from. What is the root? What patterns have been repeated? Through the patterns of people's lives is how you identify what's controlling your life, or what demon may be influencing your life, or what areas need to be healed or need to be treated. Let's go through forgiveness. Let's close the door to that by forgiving, right, which is a big one. Let me forgive them. Let me release myself with them, releasing any actual bondage that we may have created, emotional ties, spiritual ties, how some type of connection that has brought us through this, whether it was through a kiss, whether it was through emotional connection that we may have had with somebody, whether it was through relationships, through sex, through whether it was an ex-husband, whatever it is, being able to release ourselves from that spiritual bind that has been created, or emotional bind. And then from there, deliverance can start to happen. These demons can then be eliminated or told to cast it out and told to leave, right?
Right.
So it's unique with everyone, right? It's a process. It's about understanding, look, we need to invest time in ourselves.
Absolutely.
If we want to truly be happy and truly live the life that we want to live, and the life that God called us to live, and serve him and do what he has ordained us to do and send us and be the best version of ourselves, we need to take time in ourselves. But what do? We always tend to put ourselves last. Everything else is more important.
Right.
So it's really about commitment, and it's really about understanding, what do you truly want?
Right. So good. I just want to say for our listeners too, we're talking about the spiritual side. Everything you said was so good. There's doors that get opened through those different modalities that you were talking about.
Absolutely.
And there's actual spirits sometimes, a lot of times actually involved in our overeating or in just these decisions that we make. So in extreme
and a lot
cases,
of these, and I don't mean to interrupt, but with that,
okay.
I just want to add in there, a lot of these demons obviously take advantage of all of these moments, right?
Yes.
They take advantage of the traumatic moment, and they will literally direct you to do certain things that will, quote unquote, help you feel better. And that's where, gluttony comes in, and all of these other things that come in, even anorexia. Look, I had a case with one of the ladies that she happens to be faith-based. She happens to be spiritual. She told me her story of how literally the demon of anorexia came in the moments of she was like desperate to lose weight. And he said, just let me in and I'll take care of that for you.
Right. And then when we
and I will get you skinny.
Right. And when we are in agreement with what they're saying to us, then we're going to just take it hook, line, and sinker. We have to break that agreement.
And when is the best time for that?
Right.
When we're vulnerable, when we're at our weakest. The enemy takes advantage of that, and that's when it happens, right?
Absolutely.
Any sort of trauma
if she was
the
strong
door.
enough to say, no, get away from me, like, I want no part in you, right? Because she was spiritually strong enough to combat that. But when you're at your weakest moments and you're vulnerable and you're desperate, that's when the enemy takes advantage, and he does what he does best.
Yeah, we don't always have that discernment to know that, this thought is actually coming from a demon, and this thought isn't my thought, and I don't have to agree with it. But like I said, when we're in those traumatic moments,
he doesn't manifest like in a red suit with horns and a pick, right?
Right, exactly.
Like that. He comes in through a thought.
The battlefield is in our minds. That's where he shows up the most, is in our minds. So mindset is so good.
Absolutely.
So David, I'm absolutely just blessed to have met you today. I know I can speak for Leslie too.
Yes.
We're just so thankful and blessed with the time that you've spent with us and with our listeners. I just want to say right now, if you've been listening and any of this has resonated with you, look up David's Elite Champion Fitness Academy. I really feel like it will help you overcome a lot of these different issues that we've talked about, the mindset, just the nutrition aspect, lifestyle aspect of everything, the strategy, number one, the lifestyle recalibration, number two, and the accountability that David offers. So David, I just want you to really quickly share about how people can reach out to you, how they can get the Lifestyle Academy, and what the best way to connect with you would be, your Instagram, your Facebook page. Tell us all.
My Facebook is facebook.com/Dave K. Hernandez, DAVEK as in kite, Hernandez, HERNANDEZ. You can also look me up. My company, same on Facebook, Body by Purpose Fitness. And then every other social, Instagram, Twitter, is also at Dave K. Hernandez, DAVEK KHERNANDEZ. And then if they want to shoot me an email, they can also shoot me an email at bodybypurpose@gmail.com.
All right, and we'll include all of that in the show notes as well so that people can find you quite easily.
Yes,
Awesome.
yes. So I just love how you're bringing homage to your friend that passed, that you're bringing meaning to that loss in your life. Thank you again so much for being here. I just love everything that you've said. Make sure you connect with David, and thank you again for just blessing us with all of your knowledge, all of your presence, and your gifts that you've shared with us today. Thank you so much, David.
Yeah, thank you so much for everything.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Leslie. Thank you so much, Jackie. It's an absolute honor. It's a privilege for me. Thank you so much for the time. Thank you so much for the platform. I am absolutely blessed and honored to be here. So thanks again.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Thank you for being brave, for having your mind and heart open to receive what we've shared.
We pray that it touches you so deeply that you are transformed from the inside out.
If you've loved spending time with us as much as we have with you, we have great news for you.
We have a tribe of other moms just like you that are committed to living life to the fullest and are a source of encouragement, support, and love.
Go to Point of Decision on Facebook now to join our growing tribe.
I'm Dr. Leslie Baylis.
And I'm Jackie Bailey.
We love you.
We're praying for you.
And we are looking forward to spending more time with you on Point of Decision.